What's up, y'all? My name is Patrick, and I'm joined by my co-host and rivals. Representing Team Mystic is Jimmy Bones.
Hello.
Representing Team Valor is Vince Chapman.
Yo.
I represent Team Instinct. Welcome to the 19th episode of the Join the Rivalry podcast. We've got some Pokemon stuff for y'all. We've got just some general game stuff for you guys. And if I can, I'm going to talk a little bit about just because I missed out on last week's episode and I enjoyed the conversation so much, and I actually had some things that I wanted to say, and I was like, oh, I wish I was there while I was listening to it. So I do want to, if we can, maybe a little bit later in the show, revisit that topic, especially since it seemed to go so well. But
That's my favorite topic.
yeah, I could tell you were definitely in your element.
Yes, you were, for sure.
With the anime. Yeah, I don't watch a ton of anime. I have a few that I like. Actually, since we're on that subject, let's just jump into that. My favorite anime
Sweet.
ever is shoot, what's it called? Haibane Renmei. That's it.
Yes, that is
Love
my
that
number
one.
one all-time favorite.
I've
Best
got the whole
artistry,
series.
best music.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've got the whole series on DVD. I was disappointed to find out that I couldn't find it on Blu-ray. Of course,
That's
I probably
because it
doesn't.
hasn't been released.
Right. I also like I like Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. That's one that I think I have the entire series of on DVD. I've seen most of like the popular ones that showed up on Cartoon Network way back when. So like Cowboy Bebop. Oh, what's that one? There's one where there's some insurance people following the main character around. I don't know why.
Trigun,
That's it. I don't know why
Trigun.
that's the thing I remember, since that's like a side
because
plot.
that was. It's not really the side plot. That's the vehicle which drives the story.
Okay, yeah.
Trust me, it's one of my favorite series of all times. It has one of the best villains of all time. So yeah.
Yeah, but I've only seen most of that one. I haven't seen the whole thing. I just through memes, I know that in Full Metal Alchemist, there's a dude that turns his family members into dogs for some reason. I
No,
couldn't
It
not
like,
happened
family
once.
members.
Yes.
It's his daughter, and
His
that is
daughter.
the most brutal, horrible thing that ever happens to anybody in any anime. And I've
Did
watched
he-
Blood
Yep.
Sea several times.
Did he not do it to his wife, or did he do something else happen to his wife? I don't know.
It doesn't matter. It's all what happened to the daughter.
Yeah, he's a
Sweet
sicko,
baby
for
girl.
sure.
Right.
Big time.
Her wife,
Um,
completely irrelevant.
Okay, well, that's fair. So that's most of my exposure to anime recently has just been through, little snippets that people have taken out. I guess there's another meme that has something to do with a date, and actually on that same day there's a Mean Girls meme that pops up because the dates are the same. I don't know what anime it is though.
I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about there.
Okay. And whatever the date was, it happened recently. And the Mean Girls meme is that I guess there's a narrator in that movie. I've never seen the movie, so I have no idea. But the narrator
Main character
says,
narrates.
yeah, okay. So the narrator, the main character narrates that, she noticed that it was this date, and then she turns around and like in the story repeats that to whoever it is that she's sitting in class with. And on that same day, there's I guess they're an important date in an anime. So I'm familiar with that meme. Apparently not enough to have any idea what it is though. But what I'm more familiar with was when you guys were talking about like Adventure Time and Gumball. I at the very least know what they are. But maybe it's just because I haven't given Adventure Time like I have. You guys were talking about how it can be hard to follow. And maybe that's my problem with it is I haven't seen enough episodes, because the few episodes that I've seen, I'm like, this is just nonsense, and not like in a good way. But
Well, I mean, they're little vignettes, and they all kind of, all but a couple episodes, just kind of weave together slightly, just little pieces here and there. It's not an overarching story until you see a good, probably a third of it.
okay.
But
make
that being said, if you're not really comfortable with a show like Adventure Time because of the kind of manic nature of it, although half of it's depressive, it's a bipolar cartoon. It really is.
Right.
You don't want to watch something like Furikuri or Excel Saga. Those are also two extremely manic and very weird shows that don't have a whole lot of story progression.
I know those names because my brother either at one time was or maybe even still is very obsessed with. Those are both anime, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's big into both of those shows.
Furikuri is a Studio Gainax anime based on a manga, and it does have a story, but it's not something that you can pick out from actually watching the show, really, because it takes it's only like 6 episodes long, and they're actually coming out with Furikuri 2, and I think they're going to actually try to address the real story in there, but I'm not really sure. I don't really care that much, but it's basically just this alien chick who works for some galactic overlord hanging around this family. But Excel Saga is a manga artist that is very extremely self-aware, and he's actually a character in his own anime. So
Okay.
Imagine, if you will, like Steve Ditko writing Deadpool, where Deadpool and Steve Ditko sit down and actually talk in the middle of the show.
Okay.
That's kind of Excel Saga. This is a show where the main character dies in the first, I think, 12 seconds of the program.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she comes back. She gets better.
Well, yeah, I would imagine so.
Well, one of the characters is the Great Will of the Macrocosm. And at least twice an episode she comes back and resurrects everybody, because that's just her function, I guess.
Good for her.
It is a strange show, and I actually do recommend it if you want stupid laughs for no reason. It's a good show for that, but it's not a good show if you like continuity of any sort whatsoever.
So main characters in this show die regularly?
Every single episode at least. And
so it's like Kenny in South Park.
Yeah, except that Kenny doesn't come back usually in the middle of an episode, right? And they actually addressed why he comes back, like in season 16.
There's 16 seasons of South Park.
Oh, there's more than that.
21 seasons.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think behind
this is season 20 right now, actually.
Yeah, I think they're right behind The Simpsons and longest running, at least American.
They are, but see, here's the problem with South Park now, though, is that they, back in the day, in the early, in the 90s and the early 2000s, all they were was a gross out show, right? And then I'd say about halfway to 2/3 of the way through, they decided to start making like political commentary and social commentary and whatnot, like with, Big Gay Al and things like that. Over the last couple of years, they've taken that up like a whole completely different notch. Now they have a running story from one episode to the next. And the entire season 19 of South Park was nothing but a just brutal rendition of SJW culture.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing. It was hilarious. I gave them kudos. And then season 20, and yes, I've watched every single episode because I have nothing better to do but watch cartoons. Season 20 has been nothing but a disappointment. Basically, what that is you had Hillary Clinton versus Mr. Garrison running for president.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Garrison won because they've already killed Donald Trump in the show.
Right.
So yeah, it's not improving at this point. It was in season 19. It was amazing. Season 20 has been a disappointment.
Oh. Well, I can use South Park to segue into video games. Did you play the Stick of Truth?
I'm actually waiting for the next one to come out because it has the digital edition of Stick of Truth in it.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm waiting for the Fractured Butthole.
What the heck?
Okay, so Vince, because clearly you don't follow South Park.
No, I do not.
The way that the title is spelled is the Fractured Butthole, B-U-T. But of course, when you say it, it sounds like the fractured butthole.
That makes
Well, see,
sense.
here's
That
the thing
sounds like
about that.
stuff.
I didn't actually get that until I saw a commercial and Cartman said the name as I was reading it, and then he laughed, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's bad.
Yeah, the
I love
the
it.
first time I heard the name was on a podcast, and they said it incorrectly, the way that that's so it sounds dirty, and without realizing that they said it wrong. And then someone corrected them, and then it was like all of them on the podcast at the same time were like, "Oh, that's funny." 'Cause,
It's the first clever thing they've done in a year. So,
yeah. So
well, see, I like it because I understand that they're going into the superhero kind of arc that they
Yeah.
did for a while. And I actually like those characters, and that was actually the arc where they explained Kenny's deal. Um, did
okay.
you watch that stretch?
No, I catch like episodes here and there. I've seen the World of Warcraft episode where like Blizzard or
That was
whoever the
15
analog
years
is
ago.
for that.
No, it was
Um,
Blizzard.
yeah, they introduced like this super powerful weapon, and then this guy just starts running around killing all the characters. So one of their dads
Yeah.
is playing the
Stan
game.
Kenny.
Yes, so I've seen that one. I've seen the one
Randy
where
Martinez.
they're all in an anime. I think
Yeah.
did that one start where they were at a Renaissance fair and they bought a bunch of like
Yeah.
actual weapons and stuff?
Yeah, it's that was when they stabbed Butters in the eye with a shuriken.
Yeah, yeah. So,
You know, that is Butters is the best character ever made in any show ever.
and I've also seen the one where it was the first time that the S word had been
Oh,
said
yeah.
without being bleeped. And they had
That
the
one
little
actually was
count.
on last night.
Okay, yeah, and they had the little counter in the bottom right corner of the screen to count how many times they said it. And that one was interesting because there was sort of this weird moral at the end of the show that was, hey, just because you can swear doesn't mean that you necessarily should. And I was like, that was really weird coming from this show.
Well, no, if you watch most of their shows, they actually do have very strong moral arguments for things. I don't always agree with them, but they usually have a twisted way of approaching it, which is why I absolutely adored all of season 19, because
Yeah.
it was basically, hey, stop being a damn snowflake, wake up and join society, sort of deal.
Right.
They were making fun of the PC culture all together, and it was glorious. But no, they've done a couple other video game episodes as well. They did one about Minecraft.
Hmm.
They never actually went into Minecraft, but they talked about it a lot, and I still don't like Minecraft. So
Yeah,
whatevs.
I
My
get
kids love it.
lost when I play that game. Yeah, my kid loves it too. He could play
But
it for
then
hours.
I like it when they do kind of sort of parodies of things. Like they've done the Lord of the Rings parody where they were taking the porno DVD back to the store, and
Wow.
well, no, really, they had a Lord of the Rings and they lent it to somebody, and that somebody's father swapped it with a porn DVD, or it was a porn parody or something. I don't know. It has something to do with porn, right? So these kids,
Yeah.
instead of role playing and whatnot, they're off to Mordor to drop the precious into the Dropbox of Blockbuster or whatever it was, and they're being chased by the orcs, which was like the fifth graders or whatever.
Mhm.
And of course, Butters was Golem because he actually saw the DVD, and it corrupted him. But they've done a lot of parody stuff, and South Park is actually the reason why I watch Game of Thrones, because they did a parody of that 3 episodes long. And I will tell you this. Because of South Park, I believe that there would be a lot more flaccid wieners in Game of Thrones than there actually are. Because they made it
Oh.
a point to say during this whole thing that it was nothing but chock full of dudes naked flopping around, and they really did. What's his name? George Martin. They made him
Yeah.
seem to be like this complete, total, gay perv. And that actually kept me from watching the show for a while, and then somebody told me, well, that's wrong, and I watched it, and I'm like, oh, it's a good story. I don't know who any of these people are, but it's a good story.
Is
Yeah.
that story arc the one where they mix in the console war somehow?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
The battle
I've
between
seen.
Xbox One.
Yeah, I've seen that story arc. And I was like, this all sounds familiar. I'm also familiar with. I guess they have some sort of feud with Family Guy. Maybe that
Yeah.
was just like a 1 or 2
Bart
episode long
Simpson
thing.
joins
And,
with Cartman to destroy Family Guy.
that's it. And so
It
yeah.
was a 2-episode arc.
hmm So, but
Family Guy
I
is
have.
apparently written by manatees.
I would.
Mhm.
Family Guy is so dumb. I don't understand why anybody likes that show. But of
Well,
course,
it
there's
used to
probably a
be
lot of
because
people
the humor
listening.
was nowhere.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of people listening right now that are like, why do these guys like South Park? So you said that the Fractured But Whole comes with a digital copy of The Stick of Truth. Is
Right.
that a digital copy that works on your Xbox One or PS4? So like, did they port it?
You're asking the wrong guy, man, because I don't have a fractured butthole yet.
Okay.
I'm working on it. Give me
Oh
some
my
time.
gosh,
Sorry, Vince.
this guy killing me.
What?
All
No, we're
right.
good. No, we're good. No.
Yeah. Okay. So circled back around to the conversation we were having when we started this episode. You guys started talking about
The
Studio.
High Money Renmei has good music.
Yeah, it does. But you guys started talking about Studio Ghibli, and while I haven't seen a lot of Studio Ghibli stuff, the favorite one that I have seen is
If you say Porco Rosso, I will hate you.
I haven't seen that one. I was gonna say Ponyo, the
Okay.
the one with the fish or the fish thing, whatever it is.
Interesting. Yep.
That one I really enjoyed. But I've seen that one. I've seen Spirited Away. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, those might be the only two that I've seen.
More than I've seen.
Yeah.
Sure.
They're great. The animation is wonderful. Music's fantastic. I like those two. So
It's
I want
the whole production line, the whole line of Studio Ghibli, and it's 1 or 2 offshoots from ex Studio Ghibli artists and whatnot. It's all, the best way to put it is that it's all very cinematic, very epic, very I don't know, ambitious in scope.
yeah. Now are
I
they?
miss that in good animation.
Yeah. Are they owned by Walt Disney, or does Walt Disney just handle
No,
the localization?
Walt Disney does distribution and dubbing for a lot of their stuff, but not everything.
Yeah.
It's an equitable deal because most of Ghibli stuff fits in with the standard moral code of Disney animation.
Right.
The problem is that Disney doesn't support the releases very well. They don't advertise well. They don't push it like, say, if we were to have another Lion King or something. Yeah. So it's mostly the people who are going to see it are people who are already expecting to see it to begin with.
Right.
And so, right, it
Well,
could use a little help.
that's because you gotta spend all that marketing money on Cars 3. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Cars 2 was enough.
That's what I have to say
hated
about
that
that.
movie.
So. What was the one that y'all said on last week's episode was actually coming back to theaters?
Princess Mononoke came back in December,
Okay.
and I don't recall which one was coming over. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. All I can say is that if I would have known that Mononoke Hime was coming back to the theaters, I would have gone home and dropped a week's worth of salary just to see it, because it is really worth. It's
Yeah.
not funny. It's really worth the experience, and I'm desperately sad that I have missed most of these releases when they have been released in the theaters in America, because they demand that sort of attention, I guess.
Yeah.
Release to theaters. See, I'm in a really bad connection zone, so everything. Okay, New Studio Ghibli short film coming to U.S. theaters. Oh, let's read that. Okay, no, it actually wasn't Mononoke Hime. It was Spirited Away that came back in December.
Okay.
Come on, AT&T, don't film me now, yeah. Okay. Blah 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 blah. Okay, this. Okay, so well, here's some news that I didn't know about, which is good to know. Is that Miyazaki, who is basically the godlike director of all Ghibli amazingness. He is the king of all animation. He's actually coming back out of retirement, which is great news.
Nice.
Because a collective tear ran down the faces of everybody as Senpai left the school. Now he's coming out for a movie called Boro the Caterpillar, which doesn't sound enticing at the moment, but
no,
given their track record with making uninteresting things interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's okay. There was an original. Oh, hello. Who is it?
Ooh, we get to listen in on a phone call.
Sorry, that is my phone.
Oh. You should answer.
They released a
short. I should answer it. No.
They released short film. Okay.
Okay, so Spirited Away came back out in December. Princess Mononoke came back out in January, and I'm disappointed because I've missed them both.
Yeah. Huh.
Now I'm sad.
Me too, and I didn't even know I hadn't. It is probably my fault. Can we blame Vince? He doesn't stick up for himself, even though he's right here with us. We can talk about him like he's not. He's over there. I'm here. I'm on the call.
I am here. I do exist.
All right.
Therefore, I am.
Yes. Before we segue into this Pokemon Go update, I want to let everybody listening know that we have a Hearthstone tournament for CrossForge Gaming coming up on February 28th. Yes, I know that's a Tuesday. It's in the middle of the week, but it's what worked for us and most of the people that we asked on our Facebook group. So, and if you have an opinion on when we do these things, you should join our Facebook group. You can go to www.crossforgegaming.com. That takes you to our main Facebook page, and from there we have links to our YouTube channel and the community group and all that stuff. And then you can have a say on when these things. If you're like, man, I can't play a game on Tuesday, I want it to be on Saturday. Well, go vote and do that. So
okay, let me jump in and be that guy for a minute.
Okay.
Let's work on how we phrase these things, because you said if you have an opinion on when we have these things, or an opinion when we have these things. And I'm thinking, well, an opinion on what exactly? So when we have this thing, if I show up with an opinion on, say, apples, can I give you my opinion on apples the day we have this tournament?
If you want, no one will care. Well, that's not true. Someone might care, but I can't promise you that anyone will care. Do you have an opinion on apples? To begin with. Do you have an opinion on apples? Yeah, I'd like to hear.
Oh, absolutely, but I'm saving it for the tournament.
Okay, well, if you show up the 28th, you can share it with us.
I'm kind of excited now.
Yeah.
To hear your opinion on apples.
Yeah. So, well, Vince, you'll just have to show up to the tournament, and
we'll see what I can do,
and you'll know. Also, we have some Star Wars games to give away. I don't know; they're not mine. They belong to Darman, Joshua Audi. He has the games. He bought one of the Humble bundles, and it came with a bunch of Star Wars games. He's given a bunch of them away. I don't know what he's giving away. I just know it's Star Wars related. So the way that you win that is by now. This only works if you're watching us on YouTube, because there's not a comment section on Podbean. So find this episode on YouTube, which we'll link to it. We'll make sure you can find it. Comment share the CrossForge Gaming Facebook page, and I think that's it. You just have to comment and share the page. Actually, I'm going to add another stipulation for this particular prize. Share this podcast. Share the either the audio or the video. I don't really care. Just do that, and we'll make sure that if you will, I don't know how he's doing that, but we'll make sure you get a game if you win. I'm not giving everybody who does this a game because I don't have that many. All right.
We'll make
Yeah,
sure you get a
that
game.
was all you.
Yeah.
Poor choice.
So I'll
That's okay.
mail you a tic-tac-toe board. How's that?
Yeah, sure.
Winning.
I think it counts. Although it has to be a Star Wars because I did say they were Star Wars games. So as long as it's a Star Wars themed tic-tac-toe board, I think we're covered legally.
I will
Well,
hand
as far
draw
as
it.
as far as I'm concerned, the only game that I want that is even remotely Star Wars related is Wing Commander, because Mark Hamill does characters in the cutscenes, and then, it has nothing to do with the George Lucas universe because I'm so tired of it.
Right. That is not one of the games.
Should be. It's an awesome game series. I wish
Yeah.
they'd remake it.
They should. Let's call Disney. I was about to say George, but he has no say in this at all anymore. Call Disney.
Disney has nothing to do with Wing Commander. That was
Oh, so it's
we
not a.
discussed this the other day.
Yeah, we have to. So it's not a Star Wars license thing. It's just. Or is
No,
it?
it just had Mark Hamill in it.
Okay, it just had Mark Hamill. Gotcha. I understand now. All right. Pokemon Go. A new update came out today, the day that we are recording this. And so far, what I have looked at is there's a new user interface when you're fighting a Pokemon. And actually, I've got a Rattata here, so I can jump into it. So now,
Your house has rats.
yes, it does. So now on
Interesting.
the bottom right, you have a Pokeball icon, and that just brings up your Pokeballs. And then on the left is a raspberry icon, which brings up your raspberries. I don't know why it just doesn't throw one out there immediately. It seems like an unnecessary extra step.
Well, no, because there's other berries coming in. It has the Nana berry and the pineapple berry.
Oh, okay. That I
I
didn't know.
thought you read
though.
the the article that you linked us.
I I did, and I just forgot about that. Right. Let's see.
Those
Then
Team
you,
Instinct fellows are forgetful.
then you've got your switch between AR and non-AR button in the top right. There's the camera button, which of course takes picture, and your runaway button in the top left, which I
It's
don't
not
know.
really a button anymore.
I guess it's more like a tiny icon.
I don't
Um,
like how it looks. Honestly, it looks more generic now.
Yeah. Let's see. So I'm in the interface for customizing your character because now I haven't looked at this yet. So this is new
I
to
have.
Have they so it
Yeah.
looks different.
Yeah. Well,
Have they
here's
added
the thing.
things?
When well, yes and no.
Okay.
When I popped in to do my my game update and I looked at myself, I noticed that I looked more boring than I did before.
Uh-huh.
It took off the sweatshirt that I had, the hoodie that I had on. It was the blue one, the basically the Mystic one with the white little triangle and the blue all over it. And they gave me this generic solid color hoodie, which is sort of a, I don't know, a denim blue, I guess.
Right.
And I went in to see if I could alter that a little bit. And they give you the option for head coverings, glasses, gloves, pants, tops, bags, and shoes. And you can go barefoot if you want to. Then you also have the head customizer, which you can change eye color, skin color, and hair color. And there's a lot more natural coloring in there now. You don't just have to have that emo frost anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
The problem with that is that you cannot change the hairdo. So
No.
I'm sitting here looking more like a normal person now, but I still have that ridiculous Sonic the Hedgehog haircut.
Right.
And it looks to me like a teenage kid, say 14, 15-year-old kid just jumped out of bed, threw whatever's on, the floor, and then went to school, because there's no synergy between any of the stuff, and it just looks nasty. And frankly, I'm really disappointed with the customization options. I like that they changed it up, but I mean, really, I don't want to be walking around as a 16-year-old kid anymore. I'd like to personalize my avatar towards myself.
Right. That would be nice.
Because
Mhm.
I shave my head. I've got a bald head and a goatee sort of dealy, and I'd like to Gordon Freeman it up a little bit.
Right.
But no, the customization options are there. They're not very. When you pick your item that you're wearing, you don't get to go through like a hue selector, like one of those things. Like say if you went to Paint in Windows, and you had
Mhm.
that giant spectrum square with all the different colors in it. It's like they give you a preset handful of colors that you have to choose from,
Right.
and so like none of them are actually what you want. It's just like
Mhm.
one or two shades too dark or too light, or the wrong color altogether. So, kudos for them, adding to it, I guess. But why? Why bother?
Right.
If you're not going to do it right, don't do it at all.
I feel you there. Yeah, it needs more. And I mean, I guess some is better than none, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. In this case, less isn't more.
Right. That's true. Also, along with the update, there's my wife is calling me. Let me hang on a minute. Let me let her
You should
know.
answer it.
You sure that the dragon's not attacking the village?
I'm positive. Um,
Stability
okay.
improvements with the Apple Watch.
Let's see here. So a new badge has been created in preparation for incoming Johto species. So there's a new move. They've added key items, which so there's Sunstone, King's Rock, Metal Coat, Dragon Scale, and something called Upgrade. And keep in mind, not all of this that I'm reading off here is actually active. This is what data miners have found in the code. So that wait, even more shiny. Are there shinies in the game now?
Not yet.
Okay, I didn't think so.
I will tell you this. That list of items hints at another feature coming very soon. Actually,
Okay,
if you
yeah,
haven't figured it out, Metal Coat, by its very existence, implies that trading will happen soon.
yes. The one I'm sure there are other Pokemon that use it, but I do know that if you have in the Pokemon games for Game Boy and DS, if you have an Onix holding Metal Coat and trade it, it will transform. It will evolve into was it Steelix? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's some of that. I wonder because there are Pokemon in the original game, like so there's Geodude, and
Golem.
then yeah, Golem, and Golem evolves into Graveler, but only
Graveler.
a or Graveler evolves
Graveler
into
evolves
Golem.
into
Is
Golem.
that right? But only upon being traded.
Same thing
I
with Abracadabra.
yes.
Alakazam.
Mhm.
Do you think they would once they add trading that they would go back and make it so that that's the only way you can evolve those?
I gotta be honest, if they're gonna be that prudish and trying to stick with the special conditions, I might actually just drop the game because ain't nobody got time for that. That's how I feel about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's how I feel. If I'm gonna get this complicated with it, I will. I'll just play the game, like the regular game. I don't need all this. It's getting like Pokemon Go is supposed to be approachable for everyone, and you start making it this complicated. I would be afraid to, if I were the one making this game, I would be afraid that I would be scaring off people who just don't want to put that much time and energy into it.
Oh
Heck,
yeah, and
I
especially if
like
they
the
add
game
that
and
breeding meta.
right. I like the game, and I'm reading this going, I don't know if I want to put this much time and energy into it.
Yeah.
So, let's see. There's some code for something called Critical Catch, new wild encounter movements. So maybe they'll have more than just sitting, jumping, and attacking or defending, whatever they.
Well, to be fair, some of them do actually behave differently. If you look at a Jigglypuff, when it jumps, it floats slowly back to the ground, as opposed
Mhm.
to, or I
Yes.
mean, Abra kind of floats around, and then when it jumps, it looks really stupid
Hmm.
because it's still just in that sitting pose, but it jerks up.
Right. So there's new music for the encounter. Apparently, there's separate music now for daytime encounter and nighttime encounter. And then,
nighttime overmap.
right. So that's nice because the music in that gets real old real quick.
God, that's so annoying.
Yeah. There's a news section that's going to be added. Apparently something about the physics for the Pokeball, which I haven't noticed that they feel any different throwing them.
Well, with as greasy as my screen gets, I never know where they're gonna go anyway.
Right. There's a new event called Anniversary alongside. Oh, that's alongside the past holiday 2016 event code. So, and the anniversary, the 1 year anniversary of the game is in July or June?
July. Yep.
Okay.
I believe it's July.
Okay. And then there's 2 new sponsor types. And we already know that Starbucks did a sponsored event and Sprint has done sponsored events.
Push
So they
Mobile
must,
as well.
yeah. So they must be adding sponsors to
Well,
the game.
I don't. I've seen that Frappuccino cup a few times, and the Boost Mobile sign and the Sprint sign and everything. I still haven't been able to bring myself to walk inside and ask them about upping my game or whatever it is it tells you to do. I'm like, oh, look, it's
yeah.
just another Pokestop. I'm gonna just go ahead and spin it.
Right. And I'm
Oh,
sure that
goodness.
upping their game means spending $5 on a cup of coffee. So at least that's my assumption. I don't really know though. And then
Here's a free Pidgeot.
yeah. And then of course, there's a bunch of new Gen 2 Pokemon code. Apparently 80 Gen 2. Now when Gen 2 came out, so that would be Pokemon Gold and Silver. I thought they added 100 Pokemon to the Pokedex.
Yeah, they did, but there was also a handful of your legendaries and pseudo legendaries too. A couple of event types.
Okay, yeah.
So I mean, it doesn't strike me as unusual because I mean, if you look at the release of X and Y, they had a couple of Pokemon in the code that they didn't even release. Was it the Ring Genie Pokemon? Can't remember his name. Hoopla. That's what it was. Hoopla.
Yeah.
They didn't even release him for like a year and a half after they actually released the game. So
Yep.
it doesn't. It's not surprising, but
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and wager a guess that the anniversary event's gonna have your Moltres and Zapdos and Articuno flying around somewhere.
That would be nice
That would be nice.
because we need those. And of course, we already know that those are in the code. They've been in the code for a while. In fact, there was a glitch sometime last year that allowed several people to catch, I think, Articuno. And then they went in and took the Pokemon from them, and which I thought was, I mean, hey, it's Niantic's game. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But I thought that was kind of lame. I feel like they should have been like, okay, you get to keep it. It's in your Pokedex. You just can't use it in gyms until. Of course, I make it sound like it's just as easy as flipping a switch and making all that happen, and it's. I doubt that it would have been that easy. But I'm not a programmer. I don't know anything about anything.
It depends on what kind of architecture they used.
Right. So that's that. Yeah. Do we want to try and we talked a little bit about PewDiePie before we started recording. Do we want to try and make some sense out of that, even though we don't know the whole story?
that's up to you because I'm still kind of a little cloudy on it. I didn't get to finish that video.
Yeah. So, for those of you out there, if you're a gamer and you somehow don't know who PewDiePie is, he is a YouTuber that plays video games and does commentary over the top of it. It's usually the kind of thing that younger people enjoy because it's very silly and childish and lots of cursing from what I understand. And I don't know if he was the first person to do this, but I know he was doing it very early on, and is probably one of the reasons why this type of YouTube channel is popular today. I do know that he, at least at one point, he was the highest paid YouTube personality on YouTube. I
Yeah, making
don't know
about
if
4
that's
mil a year.
right. I don't know if that's still the case, but it
Not
certainly.
anymore.
Yeah. Well, yeah, probably not anymore. So he's in a little hot water. He made a joke that people are saying is anti-Semitic. I say people are saying because I don't know what the joke was. For like I've seen something related to the joke, but of course it was taken out of context because I have not seen the video that it happened in. And my guess is that if I went looking for the video, unless somebody else saved it, I'm sure PewDiePie has taken it down.
More than
Because
likely.
right, I can't
Yeah.
imagine he would have gotten in this much trouble over it and left it up. That would be a very odd decision on his part, I think. So I don't know what the context is. For all I know, it was just he told a joke and it happened to involve Jews, and someone didn't like it and decided that now he's an anti-Semitic Nazi because that's how
Well,
people
here's the
are.
thing about that. I didn't, I don't pay attention to the guy because I'm not a big fan of these YouTube channels. Yeah, like every once in a while I'll watch something like I'll look at one of those weird poppy videos from time to time just because I want to feel creepy.
Yeah.
Um, but I noticed throughout my political discourse with people and digging through posts on political topics. The big thing right now, the big popular thing right now, is the alt right versus the social justice types and the socialists and the Antifa and the alt left and all that stuff. And basically, everybody started calling this cat PewDiePie a Nazi or an alt right hero, and I'm just like, well, they said the same thing about like Milo, and he's not an alt right hero. I mean,
Right.
most of the people in there I know don't actually like him much. But that's kind of a demonstration of how displaced these Nazi accusations are, and these accusations by the social justice crowd against people who they don't care for. So I was scrolling through Facebook earlier, and I popped up, and there was in one of these political groups that I'm a member of, simply so I could see what's going on. They posted up this video, which was a video of PewDiePie himself. His actual name is Felix something or other.
Yes.
He starts talking to everybody about this particular topic, and as I told you earlier, I was in the middle of watching it when you started the call, so I didn't get to finish it. But my general impression is that he was genuinely sorry, and it made in poor taste. But like Milo, he believes that anything can be made fun of because it's nothing is sacred.
Mm-hmm.
But he spent a good bit of time in the first several minutes of his video talking about media bias and how articles and media outlets have a tendency to take things out of context or spin things one way or another in order to further their own narratives and their own gain and whatnot. And I got this distinct impression that while he himself may not be alt-right, and I have no evidence to suggest that he is, and while he himself is not a Trump supporter, or may not be, I have no evidence to suggest one way or the other,
Mm-hmm.
him as a wide, a widespreading, a person of widespread influence, there we go. As a person of widespread influence, he's starting to say a lot of the same things that Donald Trump says, basically in every press release that he ever does about how awful the media is and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, well, okay, so while this video, it strikes me as a slightly less intolerable Donald Trump speech, it's hitting on basically the same sort of subjects. And I'm wondering if perhaps this one video right here, in and of itself, will start to trickle into the brains of all the people who are actually watching him, his millions of followers, and they'll start to realize that a lot of the stuff. And I was about to say something unkind there. A lot of the
I
stuff
caught
that they
that.
see, a lot of the stuff that they see on the telly is not not slanted to actually help the people who are observing this, medium.
Right.
And I'm thinking that maybe if more people like him, who are, I guess, politically neutral in their productions, start to show the downfall of the popular media now, the common media, the mainstream media, that maybe we'll start to see a revolution in media altogether. And I think this might actually be another one of those long branches of the tree that started to grow with the whole Gamergate thing.
Yeah.
I
can
actually
see
read
that.
an article a couple days back that said Gamergate is the reason why Trump was elected. And I'm actually, based on that concept, I actually kind of believe that to be at least partially true.
Yeah, I think it probably helped anyway. I think it would be foolish for anyone to say that this one particular thing is the reason that Trump got elected. It's a bunch of things. There's how many people living in this country? 300 million? Probably more than that. People have all kinds of different reasons for voting the way that they did. Gamergate could not have possibly been the thing that influenced everybody that went and did it. So,
yeah.
But anyway, so PewDiePie has, because of this, he lost. He had a YouTube Red show. YouTube Red is YouTube's subscription service, and they've got a series of videos that you can only access if you have YouTube Red. I have YouTube Red, but not because I care one bit about the exclusive content. I want to be able to watch my YouTube videos without having ads, and I want to be able to download videos to my phone so that I can watch YouTube when I'm not on Wi-Fi. And like I download a lot of YouTube stuff that's like this. It's a podcast, but it's on YouTube, and I don't necessarily need to see whatever it is they have on the camera, because it's either just their dumb faces and I don't care, or it's like what we do on ours, which for now anyway is just a graphic, and so it's not anything important. So I can download it on my phone and listen to it like I would any other
why don't
kind
you
of podcast.
stop paying for Red, and I'll give you a copy of one of my programs that actually rips the audio from YouTube videos.
Oh yeah, and then I could put it on my phone.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyway, that's why I have it. But there are exclusive content on YouTube Red, and he had a show. I think he had the first YouTube Red show. I don't have any idea what it is, but he apparently also had some sort of sponsorship with Walt Disney. I don't know what that was. I can't imagine that he had a show on the Disney Channel, since even when he's not telling, quote, anti-Semitic jokes, he's still very foul. So I can't imagine that they put anything that he did on broadcast television.
Well, no, nothing that he did in particular, but they did actually just announce a show a couple of weeks ago that it's like I think maybe it was Cartoon Network. I don't remember, but there was this show about some generic cartoon that is voiced only by the YouTube personalities, and they put this giant list of people up, and I'm like, I don't know who the hell any of these people are.
Yeah.
But maybe it was Disney. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I was watching Star vs. the Forces of Evil, or maybe I was watching The Loud House. I don't know, something. There's like 3 cartoon channels that I watch, and it was on one of them.
Right. So he lost his deals with both of those companies over this joke. Yeah. So that's relevant to us because we're in the business of making video game content for the internet. So on one hand, I want to say if you're doing this, don't make stupid jokes. But on the other hand,
Sorry.
I mean, you do have freedom of speech, so maybe some people should just stop being pansies. Because look,
Well,
I'm
I have an argument for that actually.
okay.
Freedom of
Let's
speech is
hear
the
it.
freedom to say whatever you want, but it's also the freedom to be boycotted by other people who don't like it.
Oh, that's absolutely true.
That
That's
is
why
true.
when
Yep.
that's why when people want to be like, oh, we're gonna boycott Target because they let dudes in the women's restroom. While I think their boycott is dumb, they have every right to do that. And hey, if you don't want to give your money to Target, it's not my money. I can't tell you what to do with it. So, spend it where you want to. Although
Well, since
I
you
will say,
mentioned that particular topic, their stocks have dropped drastically, and they've actually cancelled the building of several store expansions because of the amount of revenue lost over the last year.
I have heard that. So don't let anyone ever tell you the boycotts never work. I think they rarely work, but they don't never work.
Two
So
negatives.
yeah, I much prefer the somebody I don't remember what show I was listening to, but somebody brought up that at least from what they were, and I'm talking about what they said. This has nothing to do with anything that I've believe or think, but they were noticing from their own experience that it seemed like liberal groups tended to do more boycotting, whereas uh I can't even think of something that liberals have okay, so liberals
Hobby
usually
Lobby.
boycott Hobby Lobby, whereas conservatives do more of a find someone who's getting kicked around like Chick-fil-A and go spend a ton of money at their establishment
Oh
to
god,
show your
Chick-fil-A is
support for them.
rolling, man.
Oh yeah. There's even before all that controversy with Kathy, I can't remember is that his last name or his first name? The guy who owns the place.
Which, Chick-fil-A or Hobby Lobby?
Yeah, it's Chick-fil-A. It's Kathy
Chick-fil-A
something.
Well, this is like the third generation of owners or something now.
Okay. But even before that, every Chick-fil-A in the area that I live in, if they're open, which is during regular business hours and then not Sunday, if they're open, the drive-through line wraps around the building. I don't care what time of day it is. That's
yeah,
what the
absolutely.
drive-through line looks like. So
Mhm.
I don't, I like Chick-fil-A. I don't know that I necessarily think it's that much better than, say, Wendy's. Although I will usually pick Chick-fil-A over Wendy's. I'm just saying, I don't know what their secret is that they're always busy and,
I can give you
Burger
a
King
pretty good indication.
Okay.
As a business owner myself, who's worked in several fields, managed restaurants before, and own my business now, the one thing that really literally separates Chick-fil-A from all other fast food companies is the level of service that is provided to the customers.
Yep.
And on top of that, how the company itself treats not only the customers but also the employees or people who are prospective employees. There is no other company I have ever seen that treats people so well as Chick-fil-A. And any type of problem that ever pops up is immediately snuffed out.
Yep.
Immediately. These guys are just consummate professionals. Their customer service is above reproach. Their food is upper mediocre level, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And their prices are a little high for me. And their billboards are annoying.
You don't like the cows?
Oh, I'm so tired of the cows. They need something
Well,
new.
you'll be happy to hear then that the marketing agency that they work with that created that, they're not renewing their contract with them. So the cows will be going away soon.
Uh-oh. I like the
what they're gonna
cows.
do with all
I
those
like the
cows
cows,
that are
too.
hanging on the billboards right now. I wonder if I could get one and just like make an arch over my driveway with old Chick-fil-A
With
cows.
cows, that'd be funny.
That would be
Um,
amazing.
So I know this
Stuff
is
for chicken.
a weird topic for the show, but you were talking about the service at Chick-fil-A. They have a phone app now, or Android and iOS, where you can order your food online. And unlike, say, I've also got an app for Firehouse subs. I don't know if y'all have those where you're
Yeah, we have them, but I've never been to one.
Okay. So you order on, with Firehouse but I have to tell Firehouse, this is what time I'm coming to pick up my food. The Chick-fil-A app uses my phone's GPS to figure out when I get there, and then they start making my food. And the most awesome thing about it is I did this with some friends of mine, and we were going there, and I'm like, I'm gonna order my food ahead of time. And they were all like, "Oh, you're not gonna save any time doing that. That's ridiculous. Just get in line with the rest of us." And I'm like, "No, I'm gonna try this thing out." As I'm walking in the door, I hear them call my name because my order's ready. And the rest of the people I was with had to stand in line for 3 or 4 minutes before, because the place is packed. And I got to go sit down and eat. So I was like, heck yeah. So anytime I'm going to Chick-fil-A, I use this app, and it's never been like quite that close since then, but it's usually I walk in the door and I'm not there any longer than 30 seconds and somebody is handing me my food. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
cool.
I'm telling you, man, customer service is key. Anybody who runs any sort of business who does not place a premium on customer service is doing themselves a serious disservice, because my
Absolutely.
experience tells me that if you're not on top of your game, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. And I still find that the maddest I get anywhere I go is because of even minor inconveniences in my customer service experiences when I go places. I've
Yep.
never seen anybody in a Chick-fil-A upset or having a bad day.
Mhm.
So
yeah, except maybe a 2-year-old, but
they usually find a way to calm them down.
that's true. So
Yeah, just take them to Chick-fil-A and
yeah.
go to the Flat
Throw them in a ball pit.
get them a big old ice cream cone. So
Right.
all right, I think that's gonna have to do it for us this week. So
We still haven't actually introduced ourselves this week.
yeah, we did. We just didn't chit chat at the beginning.
Yeah, we did the introduction. We just
Yeah, we did the intro. I just didn't ask how y'all were doing
Yeah, you don't care about
because
us.
I don't care. You guys replaced me. Although at least the person you replaced me with was on my Pokemon team.
That
So
was
kudos
completely
there.
by accident, and we'll never
Yeah,
do
I
that
know.
again.
Right.
I know, but it worked out. So, all right,
Well, I want
Jimmy.
to talk about me anyway,
Okay. You want to
simply
spend?
because it's important.
Okay.
Yeah, they finally got everything done with my property, so I'm going to sign for my house this coming Friday. Not tomorrow, but
Nice.
next Friday. Yeah.
Woot.
So
When's
happy
the
about
house
that.
party?
Actually, probably about a week after it gets finished.
All right, party at
You're
Jimmy's house.
welcome to come. I'm actually planning on trying to invite some folk over. It's nothing fancy, but yeah. I'm also buying a new bike, so I'm happy about that.
And when you say bike, you mean motorcycle, right? Not
Yeah.
bicycle. Gotcha.
Only weirdos and liberals ride bicycles anymore.
Oh,
I guess I'm a weirdo.
I
Or a
say I'm not a liberal, so I must be a weirdo.
Well, no, almost exactly a year ago today. Let's see, what's today? 16th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 361 days ago, I nearly died on my Harley.
Oh.
On I-24, and I hadn't replaced it yet. And I'm at that point now where I'm, financially stable enough to replace it. I'm not going to get a new one this time because I know what happened to my new one last time, and that was a headache. So I'm buying a used one. But this particular one I bought is a Honda Shadow that's been modified. And if you ever watch Batman the animated series, it's got that sort of deco noir sort of styling to it. White wall tires and the low down with the really big fender covers and everything. And I'm excited. I call it my Bat Cycle.
Nice.
Love it.
All right.
Well, I hope I will too.
Indeed. All right. Plugs. Where can we find you, Jimmy?
Here mostly. Find me on @IMHOhost on the Twitter box. I'm not particularly active there at the moment, but again, the whole project is still in the works. So yeah.
Sweet.
Aside from that, you say it, Vincent, I'll kill you. I'm boring.
The fight begins. All right, Vince. How about you?
You can find me on Twitter Chapman_Vince. And on Facebook, you can follow my page at Vince Chapman Writes.
You can find me on Twitter at Patrick Proper and Salty Luch Dork. I haven't done a whole lot on either one of those, but I will try to start that back up again. You can also find me right here on Join the Rivalry on the CrossForge Gaming Podcast and also on the Original Gamers Podcast, which are all under the CrossForge Gaming umbrella of stuff. And you can find links to all of those things in the description below if you're listening to this on YouTube. I guess I can put it in the description of the Podbean. So yeah, whether you're listening to just audio or watching the video, you can find links to all that stuff. And of course, CrossForge Gaming is at crossforgegaming.com, and that will take you to our Facebook page. Don't forget about our Hearthstone tournament on the 28th. Info about that can be found on our Facebook page. And don't forget, if you want to win a Star Wars PC game of some sort, to share this podcast. And what else did I say? Comment on the YouTube version of this, because there is no comment section on Podbean, so that's why you have to do that. All right. What's that?
That's a shame, isn't it?
It is a shame. There should be a comment section, but we should call Podbean and be like, "Hey, just for us, add a comment section," and they'll be like,
Just
"Yeah,
our podcast, nobody else's.
right," and they'll be like, "Sure, all 6 of the people who listen to you, we'll make sure they can comment." All right. Anyway, that's gonna do it for us. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Yay.
Yay.